Alright, here we go, people. Alright, here's what you want to know. Fish room cost. So you wanna run a fish room, right? Well, let's get down to the nitty gritty, and I'm not gonna cut it cheap. It's not cheap. So here we go. Alright, what is needed? Obviously, most of you watching my channel, I'm not gonna go over all this. Obviously, you need a tank, a hooded cover, most of you, stand or stands. Um, you might need a heater. Now, obviously, if you heat the room, that's an alternative, completely. Substrate, some of you may or may not want substrate. Depends on what you're freaking doing, I guess. I would suggest at least if you're gonna run a bare bottom, at least paint the bottom of the tank. That way the fish kind of, can at least have a point of view, if you will. Obviously, you'll need filtration, hang on the back of sponges, pumps, and airflow. Obviously, you're going to need that if you're not using an HOB. Um, and always keep in mind, everybody asks a lot of times, do you absolutely have to have air? Well, if you're using a hang on the back filter, you're really not putting air in the water, are you? Just you know, pouring water into the tank. So, no, I don't think so. Well, at least I'm speaking for live bears, guppies, and this and that. Egg bears and other fish, and perhaps they did. Obviously, you need food, you need lighting. Um, some of these are questionable. Obviously, you need a net or two, probably. Do you need specimen containers and bags? Probably not if you're not shipping, but specimen containers are great for a temporary hospital. You just have to keep them warm, obviously. And then you got to have stock, people. You got to obviously have fish, shrimp, snails. Um, Plants. I'm not going to argue live versus fake. Live, 100%, in my opinion. But my opinion doesn't mean a whole lot. Decor, wood, caves, cover, hiding places. The big thing about live plants, I've talked about this in many, many prior videos. Um, it helps the water a lot. It will help hide the fry. Um, there's just a lot to it. Anyway, we're not concerned about that right now. Miscellaneous. Test kits. BS hatching. That's not what you're thinking. Brine shrimp. If you're gonna hatch brine shrimp, you have to have a brine shrimp hatchery, right? Uh, I'm a firm believer in the temperature gun, although your everyday normal thermometers, blah blah blah, calcium, meds, shipping materials if you're shipping, blah blah blah. Let's get to the meat of it. Okay, I'm using this as a 20-gallon as an example on the cheapest you can get by with 20 gallons in your fish room. Okay, well, right there. Get them on $1 a gallon or cheaper sell. Y'all know that. Or Craigslist or whatever your local newspaper is. Obviously, get them as cheap as you can. Problem is, a lot of times when you get grab them used, you don't know how long they've been used. You got to worry about, is the silicone gonna hold up? Yada yada yada. This has came way up. The hoods and glass tops. Um, Man, when Dr. Foster Smith quits, uh, running, I used to be able to get glass hoods all the time for about 13, 14 bucks. I cannot find them any cheaper than 20 plus. Okay. Um, and now I use glass tops. Y'all can certainly use hoods. Um, you just got those little light bulbs, the ones that cover your tank or whatever. But anyway, find your own way around there. You can actually, build your own stuff. You know, you don't have to have glass tops. I prefer the Aquarian is it the aquarium tops? I believe I use. I prefer them. Sad part is the damn not don't curse, Scott. Sad part is I prefer the glass tops over anything else, and it costs as much as the aquariums will. All right, so right there, we're at $40. Stands. Well, I would suggest any of y'all starting a fish room build your own stands. But if you don't know how many aquariums you're going to have, always buy a double stand. In other words, buy a double stand that can do 220s or 240s or a 29 gallon and a 20 long because it's the same footprint. You know, at some point I'm going to get into that later as another example. If you don't have a heat controlled room, you might as well go ahead and pack on 15 to 25 bucks for a heater. For a 20-gallon tank, again, this is my example, it needs to be 100 watts, people, not 50. You know, 100 watts can heat it up to 15 degrees or more on the ambient temperature. And what I mean by that, let's say that, I don't know, you have, you know, fish in your basement. Let's say it's not heated. Let's say it gets to 65 degrees at the coldest in the winter. Well, 100 watt can increase it by 15 degrees. So now all of a sudden you're going from 65 to up to 80 degrees if you need to. So I've always been overkill on everything I've ever done, whether it's sponge filters, whether it's you know, air pumps. Generally, I'm not always great about it. And you know, if you have to have individual heaters, get you a good one. Don't buy those. Don't ever buy a glass heater. Okay, never. Make sure it's ceramic or, you know, again, I'm an aquarium pro guy. I fully support them. Best things in the world. All right, substrate. Um, Man, again, it can be paint, sand, play sand. Play sand works. It's cheap. You get 50 pounds of that stuff at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever for like $4 or $5. You know, it's just rinse it out good. Rock. Everybody's like, you buy aquarium rock, man. Again, Lowe's or Home Depot, just buy a normal pebble stone. And again, I won't get into that because I'm not going to try to, you know, somebody's going to say, well, he suggested stuff that might be toxic. No, I'm not going to do that. But at the very worst, paint the bottom of the aquarium. The fish don't want to be looking down into infinity. All right, so that's 4 to 20. Depends. Filtration, hang on back filter or sponge. You know, anywhere from 5 to 45. Well, sponges are obviously going to be cheap. Which you go to the next category about pumps. Now, keep in mind, a hang on the back filter. There's two things that it does that I don't like that it does. Number one, you have to plug it in. Okay, there's one electrical outlet, you're screwed. Okay, especially if you're trying to run a fish room. Number two, it does not provide air. Again, I'm not saying air is a necessity, okay, on guppies, because that's what I do, live bearers. Um, I don't know, other fish like discus, you know, I have no idea. Tetras, maybe they want air. I don't know. But anyway, a sponge does both because your pump down here is going to provide air and filtration, which and if you get one pump, a big pump, and split it off between 5 and 6 aquariums, or maybe you're gonna do a central airline. You basically got one deal. So anyway, 5 to 45, 10 to 100 on the pumps. All right, well, we'll get to some more of this stuff. Again, we're talking about 20 gallon as an example. I'm not talking about 10 gallons. I'm not talking about 20, whatever. All right, let's keep going. Food. You want flakes, pellets, live, frozen. That could be anything, man. It doesn't matter we're try. I should have put on here a month, $5 to $10 a month. And you might spend up to $40, $50 a month. Especially if you're using frozen type of anything, or you're hatching brine shrimp all the time. So we're not gonna stay there very long. Food's what you make it. All right. Lighting, man, this can become a big deal. I use cheap desktop desktop lights from Walmart, and I use whatever those bulbs are. I've got a video on there that I like. Um that's what I use, but I have, you know, glass tops. Obviously you go 60 to several $100 on high end lights. Um for me, I'm growing live plants, which is mostly Java moss. I've got an Amazon swordtail in one of those, and then the rest is growing hair algae. So, whatever. Um, Obviously, down here, you're gonna have to have a net or two. Maybe, maybe you don't have to have a net. I would suggest having a net, and you probably get them for under $1. Specimen containers and bags, and what I mean by that, I'm more of a shipper. But specimen containers, you can kind of trap. Uh, if you had to kind of like put a couple fish quickly in a specimen container, especially fry, and as long as they are in a temperature room, they'll be fine. Or, these are for shipping, whatever. This may not apply to you. I'm not even going to get into stock. It's unlimited. There's no way to put a price on there. A lot of my fish I bought from IFGA dealers. I'm not ashamed to admit, $70 a trio. Um, I've seen them go as much as $150 a trio. Um, I try to do top of the line stuff. Shrimp. Look at Flip Aquatics. Some of his shrimp, you might get 5 of them for $35, $40. His top of the line stuff, snails, whatever. Anyway, let's just keep on. Plants. Is that live? Yeah, it's not life. It's live. Okay, huge believer of live plants. Again, I was just any of you all getting low level light live plants, okay? It doesn't have to be Java moss. It doesn't have to be Java fern. I mean, hell, in the beginning, just grow you some hair algae. That's pretty darn easy to do. Not a huge deal. But anyway, you really want that. I would not recommend fake, but again, fake will, just like live plants, it'll develop microalgae, if you will, or there's a word I'm looking for. Um, it'll develop stuff on there, a microfilm. I think that's what I was looking for. That other things can eat off of, but it's got to be a well-seasoned tank. It's not gonna develop that in 2 weeks. Obviously weeks and weeks and weeks would. Um, Great thing. You know, um, uh, like Malaysia, or a lot of others. I mean, it's going to develop algae and bacteria and great things to use. Caves, rock. Anyway, you really probably want to spend a little bit of money, you know, uh, getting the stuff. It's going to also develop, you know, beneficial bacteria. The more surface that you have, the more it's going to stick to there. So $10 is unlimited. Depends how much you buy. One of the very last things, miscellaneous here. Man, I would recommend a test kit. Get the API test kit, whether it's the marine one or the freshwater one. Scott, is $25 or $30. You're damn right it is. Um, but I have never seen anything nearly, nearly as accurate as that. And I've done a lot of tests and this and that. Okay, BS hatching. Again, brine shrimp hatchery kit. If you're gonna do brine shrimp, I would highly, highly recommend that for newborns and new tanks. Get a temperature gun. Well, they're 20 bucks, 30 bucks. Well, you know what? It's a lot easier to use a temperature gun and fire it at your tanks, versus you know, getting individual temperature, you know, thingies. Again, if you're in a controlled environment where the temperature is always the same because you're in a heated room, that doesn't really matter. But I found them to be within 1 or 2 degrees of accurate, no matter what I use. Um, Calcium, they can be Tums, they can be whatever. If you're going to keep snails and shrimp, uh, yeah, get you some Tums, man. What are they? You know, 12 or $2 at freaking Kroger for whatever. You drop them in there. Get medications. Blah blah blah. If you're gonna ship anything, get shipping materials. I've got plenty of videos on that. I got plenty of videos on calcium. I've got some videos on meds. Um, and this is tricky because the miscellaneous can be 35 to 100 plus. All right, we're about done, people. So, Totals is a very, very rough guide. 20-gallon tank at the low end in a fish room is $163. You're like, there's no way, Scott. There's no. Okay, whatever. Um, 20-gallon tank at the high end, $390. How could that be possible? I don't know. Maybe you decide to turn your 20-gallon tank into a saltwater aquarium and you're, fragging corals. You probably need a $250 light, I don't know. There's many ways all this can be. So to roll all this up, aqua here it is, aquaculture 20-gallon aquarium starter kit with LED from Walmart, $74. Well, it's way cheaper than 163. Well, first of all, it doesn't include the substrate, doesn't include the heater, and the crap it comes with is very low rate. The hoods typically might last, I don't know, 6 months, a year maybe before they go out. And now you're stuck with, having to buy a glass top like I explained anyway. Um, you're probably, if you're going to buy a $74 aquarium, with everything, quote unquote, you're probably going to end up buying the little cheap, $10 heater that is rated for 20 gallons, which won't heat it towards the darn period. All right. Um, I'm just saying, build your own systems as you will update everything anyway. So look at Craigslist, and if you can't find anything there, always look at on Facebook. Surely, where most of you live, surely there's a local fish forum. Like in Louisville, Kentucky, where I live, there's the Louisville LTFF, Louisville Tropical Fish Finders. I don't know what it is, but my God, there's always somebody that's got 15 or 20 aquariums, and they decide to get out of the hobby, and they're gonna sell you the aquariums and tops and heaters, fairly cheap. And even if you don't have a place like that, don't give up. But again, I was just trying to give every one of you all a very rough guide on the cost of a fish room. So everybody put below here, how did you get into it? Did you maybe a fish store was going out of sale, you know, and you just happened to get lucky and maybe all their 20-gallon tanks were $10 and their glass tops were 5 and this and that. But I'm telling you, if you look up all these costs online right now, it's ridiculous. So you got to do what you got to do. Currently I have what? Well, no, I've got some things coming in the works. But currently I have 12 fish tanks. there's technically more than that, but I'm not counting a couple other things. But anyway, and I want to give you a general idea. And also, y'all have not included electric on this, right? Keep that in mind. Your electric per heater, per, you know, light, per whatever is going to go up. So anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm exiting. Uh-oh. Trying to figure out how to shut this thing off. Later.